section, we're going to think about starting with the relationship. As a reminder, we're going to start by thinking about the principles that we talked about in the last section. So the sessions should always start with setting an agenda, and this should always be done collaboratively. The collaborative theme is the thing that we're picking up through all of these teaching sections. But of course there are also exceptions to the rule. And one of the main exceptions is when there is something that interferes with the relationship, when things don't feel right between you and the client. And it's extremely important when something like that is going wrong that you pay attention to it immediately, and don't do the things that you might otherwise do as routine. Other exceptions to the rule perhaps are quite obvious. A crisis may intervene. Somebody may come in a very suicidal state, for instance. Or it may be that an agenda has previously been agreed so that you've planned on a previous session that what you're going to do this time is some reliving or to hear about the history of some particular part of the person's earlier experience. And so you may know what you're going to do. But what we're thinking about here is starting with a relationship. And I think the easiest way to explain what is meant by this is by looking at what happens when it doesn't feel right. So this is what's going on when I'm attempting to set an agenda with Ellen, and it's only a couple of weeks after the last time that we met. Do you know what you'd like to spend time thinking about today?
Not really. No, not really.
Nothing that's particularly worried you this week?
Well, I've had my worries. Not really. I don't think.
Okay. Has anything been particularly bothering this week that you'd like to focus on?
Well, I think just the things you know about. I think really.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if we pick up the themes from last week, do you remember what we were talking about then?
Well,
what I remember thinking about while you were here was your feeling that you've got to do what others want. You're feeling that if you don't, you might hurt them.
That's right.
Is that, or feeling criticised if you don't?
Yes, we talked about that.
Should we come back to that one, perhaps?
We could. Yes, if you think that would be helpful, we could do.
Okay. I'm getting the feeling you're feeling rather upset this morning. Has something happened that's bothered you? Something happened at work, or?
Yes, just the usual things, I think, really.
Okay. Or at home, how is it with Tom and Janice in the house?
That's not been too bad, really, actually.
So there's nothing there that's upset you?
I don't think so, no.
Let's just spend the time thinking about how we've been doing in therapy. Do you feel we've been making progress? How do you feel? How's it been going from your point of view?
Well, I thought we were getting on okay.
Yes.
And I thought that I'd got the idea, kind of thing.
Yes. I certainly thought you had. You thought we were getting on okay, you said. Does something make you think we're not?
Well, I sort of thought last time that you thought I'd got the wrong idea, that you thought I'd got the wrong end of the stick, really.
Did you? Was there something I said that made you think that?
Well, when we were trying to fix what I would do for the tasks in the week, you sort of, I got the idea that you thought that I'd missed the point, really. And then I was thinking that perhaps I hadn't really got the idea of the CBT after all.
I'm so sorry. I actually thought you'd been doing really well. Did I say you'd missed the point? Is that what I said?
Well, you didn't. You said. You said. Perhaps I'd bitten off more than I could chew.
Right.
And I
do remember saying that.
And I thought you meant that. That really I had perhaps just hadn't grasped what all this was aimed at and about. So it sort of I thought about it quite a lot afterwards. I suppose I was worrying about it really, and it just kind of made me feel that that I hadn't got the idea, and then that started me worrying about being stuck with the problem. I guess that's something it just gets back into that business that I won't get.
So it's given you really quite a setback, hasn't it? Is it all right with you if we talk this through and try and work out what was actually in my mind then? Would you like to do that?
If you think that would be helpful.
Oh, I do, because I certainly thought you were making really, really good progress, and you have got the point. And there's something there that I've said that's upset you. About biting off more than you could chew, is that right? Now, what was the context? Can you remind me?
Well, we were talking about my trying to talk to Derek about how he responds, and then I'd suggested that as part of my doing things more assertively.
Yes, yes.
And then you said perhaps I'd bitten off more than I could chew, and I thought you meant that I wouldn't. Yes. That the approach wasn't kind of right for me, and that I was that I wouldn't be able to do it.
So that was it sounds. No wonder that was upsetting. I think if I think back, what I'd understood was that Derek was really, really tired at the moment and tetchy, and I was worried that you might be starting a situation in which you'd both end arguing, which would be more upsetting for you, and that therefore it wasn't quite the right context possibly to start, or it might be something that would blow up in your face and give you a setback. But was I wrong? Was it?
But you didn't mean that I shouldn't be trying out the sticking up for myself thing altogether.
I thought you'd got the point of that really well, and I thought you'd started it really well at work.
Oh,
and
you
it
just
was
meant
time
Derek.
to bring it home, actually, to try and do it at home as well, because you'd actually moved along so fast.
But not with Derek.
But you hadn't with Derek, had you? And I think what was in my mind was that it was be an awful pity to give yourself a setback at this stage.
Well, you thought it would be better with Tom or something instead?
I don't know. I mean, would it be a difficult thing to do with Derek? Was I wrong there?
I think it'll be all right with Derek, actually.
Okay, so I'm probably got that completely wrong. And I'm really sorry about that.
He is quite touchy, but he's also. But I do know that he would do anything to try and get this. I mean, he does get ratty, but he would do anything to try and get this better, actually.
Okay. As you can see from that bit of video, difficulties in the relationship feel extremely uncomfortable. We tried to make sure that this discomfort was actually evident to anybody watching this particular scene. And what we need to think about the consequences of what's happening when people are feeling that there's something wrong between you and them. They certainly make it hard to concentrate on anything else. That's one of the big problems. Your mind is distracted, I suppose is the word, by how you're feeling about somebody or what else might be on your mind. And when that happens, there's a reduced capacity for learning, a reduced capacity for remembering. So there's no point in actually doing the work of the session. It's not going to go in. And above all, it interferes with the collaboration and with the work of the therapy. Now, perhaps one of the first things one might notice in more subtle examples of this is that interference with the collaboration. And the message, of course, is that dealing with these difficulties has to take priority. What I've said here is that they're not always easy to notice. Now, the difficulty with Ellen was very obvious. It was very easy to notice. But many people have a good capacity for hiding their doubts and worries about their relationship with the therapist. And so you may not know at once, hence thinking about how the collaboration feels. Now, at this stage, having discovered and thought about the relationship with Ellen and thinking there's something wrong here, we've begun to talk about it, we need a plan about how to proceed. And here is the plan that you're going to see me put into effect in a minute or two. So the first part of the plan is to seek clarification. You need to find out what's going on, what happened. Then you need to reflect together, collaboratively, on its implications. What does it mean? And from the therapist's point of view, I'm also reflecting on whether that fits with the formulation so far, on how we understand the difficulty. Is it part of a pattern? Is it something that happens frequently to Ellen? Do we actually understand it in terms of her underlying beliefs or assumptions? And then we need, of course, to resolve the problem, but also to plan what to do if it should happen again. Because problems like this don't just happen once. They happen, if they happen once, they're likely to happen in many occasions. And they probably happen outside therapy as well. So in resolving them here, you may be helping somebody discover how to resolve them elsewhere. So then you need to reflect together on the whole process of how you actually dealt with the problem. And once you've done that, you may draw some conclusions from that. Then it's possible to continue with the work of the session. So now we're going to watch the rest of the video in which you're going to see me putting this plan into progress and using it to resolve the problem in the relationship. And doing this while employing the style of cognitive therapy, which of course involves the collaboration, but also other elements of the style that I'm going to emphasize in this particular demonstration. So what we're going to be thinking right here is explicitness, being explicit about the problem, about giving and getting feedback so we each of us know what the other is thinking and what the other is doing, and working as collaborative as possible. So those are the things for you to bear in mind as you watch the next bit of the video. Can we just stop and think about what was happening there? Because I think that I'm really glad you've brought it up. I think it's terribly useful and we need to resolve it when you have that sort of problem, especially with, it's interfering with the way we're working together, isn't it? I'm just wondering whether there's something that happens there that relates to a big pattern in your life of feeling that other people are criticizing you, or that they're not thinking you're doing things right, something along those lines. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing that happens at work. I think when I'm a bit oversensitive to, I mean, if Sarah or somebody makes any remark, really, there's always a risk that I'll take that off and worry about it when they really hadn't meant very much, probably.
Okay.
It just means that people find it really difficult to ask me if I don't do something precisely right.
Yes.
Then they may just be making a casual comment in their view, but it just plays on my mind a lot.
Sense that other people think you do things wrong. Is that right, or?
Yeah, that I might just not be.
Yeah.
That I might just not be measuring up, really, or that.
And how do you feel when that sort of thing happens?
It's a definite sinking feeling in my tummy. I know exactly what the feeling's like.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Did you get that at the time?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. And then but I didn't think about it so much at the time. It was afterwards I was thinking about it more. I was just, at the time I was aware of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
what happened here is similar to what happens elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely was.
That suggests to me that it's really important that we pick it up here. I mean, if I do that sort of thing again, would you be able to tell me?
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it's a bit hard, isn't
Yeah.
it? Would you be able to give me a signal? Would you be able to, if you get that sinking feeling, would you just be able to say something like, or to show me that it's there?
I think I could probably say I've got the sinking feeling. I'm not sure I could say I'm feeling criticised, but I think I could say I've got the sinking feeling.
And then we could stop and explore what's caused that, what's brought that about. I think that would be really useful, because I think that gets to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's all right, that's what we'll do. Okay, but how do you feel now about having talked that through, how do you feel?
Oh, I think I had got the wrong end of the stick. I think I'd assumed that. I mean, it was just one of those typical worry things, actually.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, I'd gone into assuming that you meant one thing, and then I got it. Then I went off into the thing about not getting better ever and being stuck on it, and then it just sort of grew up. It just grows like Topsy after that. I'm into it then.
And you came back feeling really quite bothered to be here by the.
Well, I thought there wasn't much point really.
Yes.
I wasn't sure what we were going to go with it, because after.
Okay, well, I'm really glad you were able to let me know. And shall we go on now and set our agenda, and then we can spend the time today, but if something happens, you'll just give me a signal.
Yeah.
Thanks, that's fine. Lovely. Having watched that demonstration, there are some questions that you should be considering, important questions. Was the problem explicitly addressed? Now, I'm using these questions as examples of the kinds of questions that you should ask yourself if you too have had a difficulty in the relationship with the client. So, was the problem explicitly addressed? Many times in therapy we think there's a problem, but we hope it'll go away, and we're reluctant to bring up things that could be awkward or embarrassing or difficult for the person to talk about. So we tend to be rather dragging our feet when bringing such things up. Second question is, was the feedback from the therapist genuine and honest? Now, when there's some doubts about the relationship, when things don't feel right between you, I think people are hypersensitive to the sense of you actually not being quite honest with them, not coming clean. So you need to be absolutely sure that you are speaking honestly, that you are genuine. And then, having done that, was the therapist able also to elicit genuine and honest feedback from the client? Now, this is much harder. So you're troubled by your therapist. You think they've done something wrong. They may have offended you. Do you want to say so? Most people wouldn't want to say so at all and would find it difficult saying so clearly. I mean, of course, there are some who say so only too readily, but they're not the usual kinds of clients that one sees. So we need to develop some skills for eliciting genuine and honest feedback from our clients about things that we might have done that they were not comfortable with. And then the final question, and the most important one, I suppose, is how collaborative did the process feel in the end? So that's the whole process of trying to resolve this issue. And remember a point I said earlier, that when one's judging the nature of the collaboration and the quality of it, you need to be thinking about a whole episode, not the moment-to-moment questioning and answer, but a whole episode. So now we've come to the point where we might summarize the main points from this section when we've been thinking about dealing with the problem in the relationship, and doing that at first when you start a session. So it is essential to pay attention to the way that relationship feels all the time, not just some of the time. That needs to be one of the things that one's therapeutic antennae, so to speak, are constantly sensitive to. Problems in the relationship have to take priority because they interfere with learning and they interfere with paying attention to what you're doing. So they're going to interfere with progress if you don't pay attention to them. And now the style of cognitive therapy is really useful here. It provides us with very good tools for dealing with these difficulties. And some of those tools I was trying to demonstrate in the last video clip. So the tools of explicitness, the tools of using feedback, the tools of collaborativeness. And of course there are things like using summaries as well that we haven't addressed in this particular learning section. When the problems are addressed, therapy can continue, and so you need to come back to your agenda, and this applies throughout therapy, not just at the beginning of sessions.